Welcome back to the section on module injection. Module injection is where you can take a process that has common inputs and outputs and create multiple implementations of that process. Each implementation is a self-contained piece of code that is usually a single class library project, however it doesn't necessarily have to be. Each implementation of the process will be referenced not by adding it through the add references as you normally would, but by directly referencing the compile class. This of course means that you need to know the full name of the compile class, and you would normally get this from a config file or a database. However, it is also possible to perform file discovery, but this is slightly more complex. Each class you create that implements the process will need to adhere and implement a common interface. Remember, interfaces allow you to define inputs and outputs but then have a different implementation. Because the calling code references the interface and not the concrete class, you get the ultimate in flexibility. A classic example is that of a very simple calculator. Let's say we want to create a simple program that takes two numbers as inputs, does something to them, and then outputs a result. One implementation might be to add two numbers together, another may subtract, another divide, another multiply, and so on. In all cases we have two common inputs and one common output. So what we can then do is create an interface called iCalculation, and then create multiple classes called add, subtract, multiply and divide. Each class will implement the iCalculator interface. Now our calling code will work on the interface, and which implementation gets used will depend on a user choice. This is a common example for interfaces and modules, and although it provides a clear example how the mechanism works, at least conceptually, it doesn't really say why we should use it. After all, it's such a simple task, why bother with modules at all? So in the next section we'll implement a voucher system that is useful in this kind of way. So download the code from the next project in the Resources tab, update your database by running the Update Database, and then let's have a look through.